1, 2, testing, testing. All right, Christine isn't with us tonight. She had to work tonight, so I get to try to do it all. Good evening and welcome to the Arundel Camera Club meeting for Thursday, April 11th. My name is John Milliker and I'm the president for the 2023-2024 season. The Arundel Camera Club was founded in 1957 and exists to promote the art, science, and education in all aspects and fields of photography. For more information about us, please visit www.arundelcameraclub.org. And if you are local to the Anne Arundel County, Maryland area, we encourage you to visit us here at the Severna Park Baptist Church, located at 506 Benfield Road, Severna Park, Maryland. Do we have any announcements from our officers before we move on? Yes, Ron.
Really quickly, just a reminder to bring your prints in. The April 25th is your due date for that.
I should have got this other microphone going.
Yes. Get into your prints.
But Ron said to make sure to bring your end of year prints in. Don't worry about your digitals because those automatically get entered in. Any other announcements before we move on? Yes, Susan. You want to talk about? Give me a little bit of time for that.
Okay.
First of all, we had a handful of club members go out to the eclipse, and we really didn't know where we were going to go. But 2:30 in the morning on Monday, April 8th, Fred said, "I'm leaving." And then Christine and I and Cheryl followed shortly, and we made it to Avon, Ohio, which was west of Cleveland. You guys want to come up and talk a little bit about that trip?
Yeah. You want to talk first? Go ahead.
So Fred had arranged this trip and suggested that we all go, and I was very ambivalent about it for personal reasons. One, my car is so old and it can't drive very far. So that was my main concern. But anyway, at the very last minute, I decided I was going to go. I was able to order solar filters from B&H, got them within 24 hours, and I didn't even have to pay extra duty because 24-hour delivery was in my zip code, which was awesome. So I got my solar filters, but then it rained until the day we left. We all met up in Pittsburgh, and the purpose of meeting in Pittsburgh was because it was central to many, many areas along the path of totality. And the weather has been so unhelpful this year, and cloudy and rainy and just unpredictable, except for the prediction of clouds. So we met in Pittsburgh and watched the weather for the whole week leading up, and we all stayed in the same hotel, which was a really lovely hotel, and we met for dinner down in Mount Washington, which has a phenomenal overlook. My first time visiting Pittsburgh, and it was a lovely town. I really like to go back. And we had a great time together photographing up on Mount Washington. Then we tried to get dinner. All the restaurants were not taking any more guests because they were so crowded. So we hiked into this adorable little community and found a local tavern, and everybody there was local. So me, who likes to talk to people, and discovered that probably the best location would not be Cleveland, which we had been talking about, but that we should go further west to Lakewood. So we all looked at the weather, we looked at the wind, we looked at the maps, we looked at the apps, we looked at everything, and we all decided west is best, as close to Detroit as possible. So we headed to, and Lakewood was west of Cleveland by a good 40 minutes, and so that's where we went. We got to Westlake in the dark, in the pouring rain, confident in our prediction that it was going to clear, but we found that the town had closed itself off to all eclipse observers. Every parking lot, every driveway, every church, every American Legion, every park was blocked with snow fencing or barrels and tape and said, no eclipse viewing. So the town did not want us, which was a bummer. But John, knows that if you find a Home Depot lot or some big box store parking lot, it's usually a great place to hang out because they don't chase you away. And he found a Cabela's that opened their arms to us and allowed us to stay there. And we ended up staying there and watched it and had a great observing and a blast. I'll let Fred talk about some more stuff.
Okay, so anyway, we had a good time, but she's missing one thing though. In Pittsburgh, if you ever get a chance to go to Pittsburgh and want to do some shooting, thing, you need to go there, okay? And go there at night. You're going to see one of my pictures from Pittsburgh, probably
And
yours.
mine too.
And theirs too, okay? And we're going to see one of my clips. I'll probably get thrown out, but who cares, okay? But anyway, there was a few people in that parking lot. There wasn't that many, but there were some interesting people. There was a couple people from UCLA that were scientists, professors or whatever, and they were just thrilled with us standing there taking these pictures, and they were like right over top. And there was a guy there, was a truck driver that had a bunny rabbit, okay? And I had 2 cameras going, and I knew I could only control one, so I was telling them hit the other one because I wanted to see everything. Okay? Because when like you heard online today, people talking about, I don't see a story. They're absolutely right. There is no story unless you're there. Okay? Because when you see what happens, okay, that is the story. Okay? It's fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. Okay? And if you get a chance, you need to book right now to Iceland or Spain. You need to see this before it puts you in the ground. It's unbelievable. I'm done.
Thank you, Cheryl and Fred. I couldn't have said it better. We, as Fred said, we had such great people, and that's just because we had like cars blocking like 4 spots or 5 spots, and then all these tripods. So of course, we drew a crowd.
Yeah.
And all these people, we kept saying, "Why don't you have chairs? Bring your chairs over here." And so we had a heck of a good party there, and that was a good time. And as Fred said, and I think Scott Dine said online, like, it's hard to make the eclipse your own. So really, the story is just being there in the moment. It's absolutely unreal. It was Christine and I's second. We went to 2017, and that was like 2.5 minutes. This was 4. We were so close to the center. It was just 4 minutes long, and it felt like it went over like that. It was so quick. Let me move on to the schedule, and then I want to talk a little bit about kind of the end of the year. We're getting close. This is tonight, of course, is our digital contest on night photography. On April 13th, we have a field trip. I'm going to have Ed come up and talk a little bit at the end. Next week is a program by Victoria Gray on the art and business of headshots. That should be a really good one. April 25th, our last print contest. Make sure you make it, night photography. So you've got a couple weeks to get some of those out. Then we have Christine Milker with a cyanotype meeting, and it's going to be a workshop. And people that are paid members for our contest get in for free. I think she's charging $5 for everybody else. And then she's going to send an email out if you want. She usually has like little things for photograms. You can make your own cyanotypes by putting leaves and doilies and things, and she'll explain that. But for $5, if you want to send us a black and white photo, she will print you out a negative. We have a special printer that prints in carbon, in black encapsulated carbon, and then you can make cyanotypes of your photo instead. Let's see. Beyond that, May 9th is the club events contest. Make sure that you get your stuff in for that. That's digital only. And the winner, we have one winner in novice and one winner in unlimited, and you get free paid club membership for next year. So that's great. Every club event you went to, you can enter for. Let's see, Wednesday, the 15th of May. I want you guys to put this on your schedules if you can. We have another fundraiser night with Brian Baru's Irish restaurant. And many of you have helped support us out there. They're very supportive. Come out and eat. I don't have the details with me, but come out and eat. It's a 3-course meal. I think they had to raise their price to $30, but we get $10 of it. Very, very, very generous, and it really helps the club with all of our expenses going into the new year. And then, unfortunately, I didn't put that down for JC, but JC will be giving us a program on the 16th. What's that program about, JC?
Nature photography.
Nature photography. JC being a winner in our local. Was that the DNR? For the photo that you entered, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago? You entered the heron photo and you won, what, second place in the DNR's contest?
Chesapeake Bay annual photo, Save the Bay photo contest.
Chesapeake Bay Save the Bay photo contest. JC's got an amazing eye for nature, so make sure you make that. And then May 23rd is our business meeting. There's going to be some stuff coming out. We need to vote on themes, which we'll do ahead of time, and then we'll kind of finalize that up there. Please make sure to come for the business meeting, because this is how you get to help shape the club for the next year. As I said before, that the club is not the president, the club is not the officers, the club is everybody. So we need to shape it and kind of protect it going forward together. And then, Susan, do you want to come talk a little bit about our end of year banquet? Yes.
I have one quick question about the club events.
Uh-huh.
If a photo that you entered was taken from a club event and won, is it eligible for the club events?
The question is, if you've entered a club event photo and it has won in any of our contests, is it eligible for club events? I'll refer to our contest chair. Ron is saying yes, you can re-enter it. So all that 3 strikes and you're out, or if you first or fourth, enter it again. Come on up, Susan. Tell us a little bit about the banquet, which Susan and who else been helping you? Bob?
No.
Susan's been working very hard on giving us a great banquet again.
Yeah. We're going to repeat the experience we had last year at Olive Garden. We'll be sending out more emails again with the address. It's in Hammond's Ferry Road in Linthicum. It's a banquet style meal. We've diverted last year from the plated meals to the banquet style and seemed to be successful, so we're going to do it again this year. It also keeps the price down. The 3 main courses that were selected, and you can have some of each, are the beef tips, the fresh salmon, chicken parmesan. There'll be penne noodles, there'll be vegetable, salad, breadsticks. The event is on May the 30th. So tickets were $38 per person. They only went up slightly from last year, and that was to cover the restaurant's increase in cost. The deadline for money, please don't wait till the last minute and come in afterwards and change our head count. The deadline is May the 18th. We have several meetings between now and then. If you come to a meeting with a payment and Jackie is not here to take it from you, you can pass it to me, and I will keep her updated as to what checks I'm holding. We need to have a minimum of 25 people, or the event, either the club kicks in for the difference or we end up having to cancel. So please check your calendars. If you have conflicting possible events, let me know that you're interested, you want to be here, so I can put you on the maybe list so I can keep tabs on how our numbers are growing. But please, mark it on your calendar. If you're able to commit, it's $38 per person. Bring your spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, adult children, neighbor who's interested in photography.
Friends, enemies.
Yeah, the room can hold a lot more. They can open up the divide and give us all the space we need.
What was the price last year?
I think it was 35.
So $3 more in this economy, that's a heck of a
Yeah.
price.
And since we're running the announcement now and will every week going forward, I'll see that another email goes out clarifying the details and confirming the price and putting me down as the second person if you need to hand in money in person. You can mail checks to Jackie, and I'll have her address in the email.
Perfect. Thank you. So can you hand that to Ed? And then let's turn it over to our field trip chair. It's Ed, and he's got some stuff to talk about for what's the field trip? Of course, I can't see.
We have
this
an
weekend,
exciting
and then that.
field trip on Saturday to Brookside Gardens. It's wonderful. And remember, we went to Brookside Gardens. You were there with your husband. We had a fantastic time. It's really nice. And it'd be nice if we met at like 10:30, and maybe we can go to lunch afterwards or something. Now, the other thing is Susan and I have been working diligently on the field trip that was supposed to happen, and it didn't happen, the balloon festival, So what I have here is I have 3 choices that we picked out. The first choice is the Brighton Dam and Azalea Gardens. This is where they have about 1,000 azaleas, all different colors, and it's by the water. It's wonderful, and you can walk around. And I checked the time for azaleas, and they're in bloom from mid-April to mid-May. So I thought May the 4th would be a good time. And the last time we were there were April the 30th, so that sort of fits in. Now, the other one is Rollins Conservatory and Botanical Gardens, and they're by the Baltimore Zoo, and it has 5 greenhouses, half-acre garden with many flower beds, and a kaleidoscope of colors all year round. And then the last choice we have is Jug Bay Wetlands and Sanctuary. And the last time we were there was 2021. This place is located a little bit east of Washington, D.C., so that's where it's located. And they have plants, insects, mammals, reptiles, birds, fish, microbes, and all kind of American cultural resources. So anyway, I'd like to take a vote on what we would like. So, who would like number 1? 1, 2, 3, 4.
And
Susan,
John
can you
behind
please keep count of the night of
Yeah.
the counts?
John, too.
5, 6. Did we get you? 7. Okay. How about number 2, Rollins Conservatory and Botanical Gardens?
Can I just say that I've been to Rawlings Gardens and I got a contest photo out of it.
Bob says that he's been to Rollins and he got a contest winner out of it.
That's 2. Oh, wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Then we have the Jug Bay Wetland Sanctuary. Well, it looks like number 1's got it, and it will be on May the 4th. Thank you so much for your kind attention.
Can you hand that to Ron for me, Ed?
Sure.
Thank you so much.
Oh, I wanted to mention that our field trip this month will not interfere with the
Odyssey of
Life, because they'll be recorded, so that's no problem.
Ed was just clarifying that the field trip does not interfere with the MPA's Odyssey of Light. I think that's about it. I'm going to say it until we end. We do have a group camping trip kind of coming up in July. If you're interested, look for the email or contact me for more information. It's at Spruce Knob Lake, dark night sky area, and that's going to be really good. Well, let me get Ron up here to introduce our judge who's been waiting patiently on the phone for us, and we'll get this party started.
Okay, our judge this evening is Frank Gallagher. And Frank, I don't think you've been to visit our club any time in the past, have you?
I had not.
See,
He said he has not.
he has not. Okay, gotcha. Anyway, so Frank is a relatively new judge. Am I correct?
That is also correct.
Okay, got two out of 3 so far. So I have Frank kindly sent me his little bit of bio to fill in the blanks. Unfortunately, my phone is where the bio is, and I couldn't get it off onto my piece of paper. So let me give you a little bit of background about him. He's a photographer and a writer living in Washington, D.C., in the Washington, D.C. area, who loves nature photography and also spending time outdoors. Frank built his photography business following a 25-year career in nonprofit associations focused on education and technology, during which he developed extensive experience in visual storytelling and communications, which actually is really key if you're going to be a good photographer. These days, he mainly works with national and local nonprofit organizations, providing a variety of photographic services. He's a member of the Silver Spring Camera Club, PSA, Nature Photographers Network, and the North American Nature Photography Association, and for several years handled NANPA's marketing and communications. So photography has been a passion of his since, as a child, he watched his dad carefully composing with a Graflex speed graphic camera. I think you'll enjoy, I've heard a lot of good things about Frank's judging. I think you'll enjoy his comments tonight. Frank, I don't envy you because I looked at these pictures that you have and I wouldn't want to pick out winners out of this bunch, I have to say. Frank, is there anything I missed that you want to add to the mix here?
I'd just like to make 3 quick comments. One is to thank you all for the invitation. I too have had a quick scan of the images and I'm kind of blown away. I feel like I need to be Oprah and go, you get a prize, you get a prize, you get a prize. But unfortunately I can't. The other thing I mentioned is that in that bio, nowhere did it say winner of multiple Pulitzer prizes. So this is just going to be one man's opinion.
Okay.
You may agree or disagree. I'll do my best to say why I'm feeling that way and what specific elements of a photo are affecting me positively or negatively. But again, it's just one man's opinion, and another judge might score it much higher or lower than I.
We were just talking a little bit about different judges have different perspectives just before the meeting today. We all have had that experience, so we are going to depend on your experience to just give us some good feedback so we can come back and do some more the next time. So the only question I have, John, do you want to read the items and do this, or do you want me to do this from over here? You got your hands full tonight, I know.
Well, we have a little bit of a problem. We're in a little bit smaller room, so I'm going to be constantly balancing the echo.
Okay.
But what I will do is I'm going to mute. When Frank's talking, I'm going to mute us, and when we're talking, I'm going to mute Frank. And if anybody out there, if you can't hear, let me know. Frank, if for some reason you can't hear us, let us know, and we'll get through this, hopefully.
Okay.
So to answer your question, Ron, I will read them.
Okay.
Let me get over to.
And you want to shut this mic down so I can.
I've already turned you off.
Okay. That explains it.
Can somebody please?
You want to read them off of here? Is that helpful?
I think I can read them from the TV, so I'm gonna. Can somebody please get the lights? But
I have a double copy.
oh, thank you so much.
John, that's the unlimited, I believe.
Yeah, I'm going over to the novices, but thank you for noticing.
There's only one switch, so it's gonna be dark.
Frank, are you ready?
I am ready.
Okay, I'm not sure how much you know about our contest, but we're going to go through them and we're going to display them for our audience and read the names. And then I will go back to number 1 and ask you to go through comments. Ron, correct me if I'm incorrect. We need 1 through first through 4th and 1 honorable mention. Is that correct?
Right.
I'm getting the thumbs up.
Right.
Okay, here we go. Number 1, New York Bridge. Number 2, Sunset Bay Bridge. Number 3, Sunset Serenity. Number 4, Moab Tree. Number 5, Chaos Light Trails. Number 6, Alley Light. Number 7, Love That Sun Sea. I think that's probably sunset. Number 8, ride in the dark. Number 9, Vegas light trails. 10, early morning light painting. And that is it. I'm going to go back to number 1, Frank. I'm going to mute myself and let you take it from here.
Okay, number 1, the New York Bridge. I can imagine the maker of this photo jumping up and down when he or she saw how it all came together. It's a really nice choice of a long exposure to smooth out the water and give some of the traffic a chance to get those headlight and taillight trails. And I like the way that the skyscrapers on either end of the image sort of bookend things and keep the eye from following the bridge out of the picture to the right, because that building there stops you, or following the trail of lights from the bridge out of the photo to the left because the buildings stop you. And I like the fact that there is texture in the sky. Very often that's one of the key elements that's missing in a night or blue hour photo. So this one is in.
Okay, number 1 is in. Number 2.
Number 2, the sunset at the Bay Bridge. I like the idea behind this, and I think the maker probably saw a fabulous sunset here. I like the fact that there is something in the foreground, the log there, and I think the part of the exposure is dead on because you can see sort of individual grains of sand reflecting the light in the foreground, but that comes at the expense of the sun being really bright in the background. For me, the issue here is this may have been taken with a wide angle lens, and that brings the Bay Bridge, kind of minimizes it. And while I like the intent of having the Bay Bridge sort of lead you right to underneath the sunset, then there isn't anything of interest on the right-hand side of the frame there. So I think for those particular reasons, the lack of interest on the right-hand side of the screen, and the Bay Bridge really being minimized as a result, I think, of a wide angle lens, this one is going to go out. It kind of makes the subject feel like the log rather than the bridge.
Okay, number 2 is out. Number 3.
Number 3 is a really creative approach here, and I salute the maker for seeing the compositional possibilities here with the sort of semicircles of the cruise ship as your foreground element and point of interest. It's nicely composed. It's sharp. The 2 issues on the downside are, one is there's a little bit of sun flare, which would be hard to avoid in a situation like this, but possibly as the maker gets more experience with things like Photoshop or Lightroom or another processing program, they could clone that out. The other issue is on the right-hand side, there's a sort of rocky sandbar or something of that nature, which is a detraction and distraction. Much as your eye tends to go to the brightest element, it can also go to the darkest element. And it may not have been possible to find a location where that didn't show up and you still got the other elements of the photo in, but this is a really great idea, and just slightly off from being spectacular with these that little ground clutter on the water there. So for that reason, I'm taking that one out.
All right, number 3 is out. Number 4.
You know, when you talk about night photography, you often think about Astro and Milky Way. This is a really nicely composed, thought out, and well processed image. Not sure where it is, and whether that was some fill light provided by low level lighting by the photographer, or however the source was, the way that it lights up the foreground, and that bristlecone pine is wonderful. It's got a little bit of texture in the background, and the way the Milky Way comes in at a diagonal and leads you straight to the tree, the way the tree has that S-curve and leads you right to the Milky Way. Those are really smart, creative elements that make this a really nice photo, and this one's in.
4 is in. Number 5.
Number 5, Chaos Light Tails. It took me a little while looking at this the first time to get any clue of what it was I was watching, but I really liked the vibrance of the colors and the swirling patterns. It's a super interesting piece that really makes you think, what is it I'm watching? How did they do that? The one flaw I see in it, and it's a fairly minor thing, is on the right-hand side, where the two white streaks don't quite come together. And that's, the eye sees that, and it wonders what's going on, and it becomes a distraction. And if the maker were able to crop in a little bit from the right to avoid that, this would be a really, really neat shot. It still is a neat shot, and I'm keeping it in.
Okay, 5 is in. Number 6.
Number 6 is another interesting shot. It's well done. I like that you get texture on the upper bricks where the light's hitting them. The number 3 is powerful in photography, and you have the 3 openings, the 2 windows and the graded thing. The fact that the most visible window has the shade most of the way down makes you wonder what's going on inside. I think that if the maker gets more experience with things like HDR or exposure blending, they might be able to do something that would bring out a little of the detail in the street light. But I don't have a problem with it being blown out given the situation there. I could take or leave the fire escape there, but that's the one thing that's the real drawback that seems to intrude in a way that is distracting. I love the thinking behind this. I love the eye of the photographer, but mainly because of that stairway intruding, I'm going to take this one out.
Okay, number 6 is out. Number 7.
Number 7, one of the things that the MPA talks about a lot in judge training is impact, and how impact can overpower small technical flaws and things. In this particular photo, there's a lot of impact here, and that makes the fact that maybe the sky is a little blown out mean less. The way the kids have the heart formed and the way they're grouped together. For me, it would have been a little better if they were completely black silhouettes. That might have brought back a little more detail in the sky too, but that's certainly forgivable in an image that's fun and has impact like this. So this one is in.
Okay, 7 is in. Number 8.
Number 8 is a balloon, and I congratulate the maker in nailing the exposure on this. It's really hard to get something with that much variety and range from super bright to real dark. So congratulations on that. It's well framed. The thing with objects like this, and you see it also in bird photography or something, is you want some kind of action. You want it to be doing something instead of having people sort of being static. And so I think as I would certainly encourage the maker to go back to balloon festivals and shoot again. There's a lot of opportunities there, but because I'm looking for impact and action and mood and feeling, the fact that the people are pretty static and the balloon's still on the ground is a little bit of a drawback for me. So this one is going to be out.
Okay, number 8 is out. Number 9.
Number 9, the Vegas light trails. Light trails can be difficult. You never know how much traffic there's going to be. You have to play around a lot with the exposure to find what works well. And I think the maker did a nice job with this. I like the sort of curved overpass that goes through there, and the way the diagonals of the main highway take you all the way through deeper into the image. There's a point of interest in the tall towers and skyscrapers, and then the bright Vegas lights just to the left of them. The two things that are a little bit of a drawback is on the left side, there's just a tiny bit of the curve cut off, and on the right side, that giant lighted billboard is a little too close to the edge. And because they're possibly the two brightest things are that billboard on the right-hand side and the In-N-Out Burger sign on the left-hand side, the eye goes back and forth between them, and in the process discovers the buildings in the center, and then comes back on the lines of the highway. So it's a really nice composition. It's just, if the item on the right had a little bit more room, and there's a tiny little bit of something intruding in the sort of upper left. I don't know if it's lights from a building or something else, but if the maker were able to clone that off, that little thing sticking in as a distraction. And I think, either cropping in more to eliminate things, or if there was any way they could have done this just a tiny bit wider on the right, that would have made a big difference. But it's really strong. It has an impact. And because of those reasons, I'm leaving it in.
9 is in. Image 10.
Image 10. This is a really nice use of subtle light added to, I believe looks like this one was shot at night, but the light is really subtle, and it looks fairly natural. It doesn't create any harsh highlights or hot spots. It's well done, well executed. I might be tempted to crop in even more, because the triangle of grass on the lower left doesn't really do anything for me. And I think the interest is in the flowers in the foreground, and then the ones in shadow in the background. So either darken considerably the triangle of the lower left, or crop in even more, a little closer, would improve this. This one is out, I think. So what does that leave me with?
I think that is perfect. Let's go in and check it out. Okay, go up to my filter. Let's turn that down. Attribute. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are set to go. Do you have them on your side, Frank, to start placing? Can you give me numbers?
Let me see here. So if I have these right, I have the number 1. I'm just reading the numbers that I have as still in. Number 1 is the bridge. 4, the Moab Tree. 5, the Chaos Light Trails. 7, love that sunset and the Vegas lights.
That's correct.
Okay. I'm going to give the Vegas lights the honorable mention. Number 4 is the fourth place is number 1, the New York Bridge.
Got it.
Third place is Love That Sunset, number 7.
Got it.
Second place, by just a smidgen of those 2 lines not meeting, is number 5, the Chaos Lighting, which leaves number 4, the Moab Tree, as the first prize.
Okay, the number 5, Chaos Light Trails, was second place, and then the Moab Tree is first place. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. Try to make it a little bit easier. I'm going to go ahead and announce the winners there, if you don't mind, Ron.
Oh, go right ahead.
Okay, first place with New York Bridge, excuse me, hold on a second. First place with Moab Tree, I'm sorry, is Tim Hugson. Second place, number 5, Chaos Light Trails, that's Monique. Monique, you got one of those names I'm not going to try to pronounce. Monique Kojut? Does anybody know?
Monique.
Monique. Congratulations, Monique. Let's see. Third place is number 7, Love That Sunset, Ken Temple. And then fourth place is number 1, New York Bridge, Monique again. And then honorable mention is Vegas Light Trails by Ken Temple as well. And I know I went backwards. If you want to complain, email me about it later. Okay, Frank, are you ready for, that was pretty tough. There's a lot of great images there. Are you ready for 4 times more of those amazing images?
I'm ready. Bring them on.
Okay, let me get them over on my side here. Make sure they're lined up correctly. Okay, let's go ahead and read the names out. Number 1 is Pittsburgh. Number 2, Mormon Temple. Number 3, Miss Baker. Number 4, Ice Crab. Number 5, After Hours. Number 6, 'Twas a Dark and Stormy Night. Number 7, Stars and Stripes. Number 8, Pittsburgh Bridges. Number 9, NOLA Streetcar. 10, Solar Eclipse. 11, Night Launch. 12, Norwegian Sun Bermuda Nights. 13, Skyfire. 14, Pink Flamingos. 15, Fireworks Over Bridge. 16, Preakness Balloon Festival. 17, 17, Fun Times. 18, Pizzorama. 19, Skater at Night. 20, Reykjavik Waterfront. 21, Soaring. Number 22, Celebration. Number 23, The Strip. Number 24, Moon. Number 25, Cigar Time. Number 26, Richmond Botanical Gardens. Number 27, Christmas Boat Parade. Number 28, Oil Lamp. Number 29, 2024 Eclipse. 30, Stepping Out for a Smoke. 31, Steel City S-Curves. 32, Gentleman's Evening Leisure. 33, Sunrise. Number 34, Flooding Expected. Number 35, 37 Tickets. Number 36, Night on the Continental Divide. 37, Late Night Work in the Cybersecurity Building. 38, Night Train. 39, Late Night Baking. 40, Carnegie Science Center. 41, Life Saving Station. 42, Nightcap. And I think that is it. I'm going to move all the way back to the beginning, and I'll let you know when to start. Okay, Frank, you there?
I am.
We're on number one, Pittsburgh, and ready when you are.
Right, let's go at it. So there are several of these. This one, it is well exposed. I like a lot of the ideas behind it. It seems to me that in this case, it compared to some of the others, that it might be a little too wide. Once you go to the left of, I think it's the Science Center or the Science Building there, you start to lose interesting objects to look at. But then you have the Science Center and the stadium, and then sort of less interesting things. And then the bridges, which are a little tight to the right-hand side, and then the park at the end that has some lights at the end of the peninsula. And this was, really well executed, which is hard to do with a panorama of this length and however many shots it took. But I think in this case, it might have been just a little too wide, where I'm not sure what the subject is or where my eyes should be going. So I'm because the competition is so steep and there's so many, I'm taking this one out.
Number one is out. Number two.
Number two is the Mormon Temple, which is down near where I live. Majestic building that is different every hour of the day, and to capture it in blue hour with the lights being blue also is a really nice touch. I think the use of the holiday lights or the whatever they are, the lights that are here as a way of framing it was a really good idea. On the left side of the temple, there are several branches that intrude onto the temple itself or overlap it, which I find distracting. And I think if the maker had been able to move a little bit to the right to avoid those branches overlapping the temple, it would have been a little bit of a stronger photo, but a lot of good elements in this. It shows the maker has some real talent and a good eye, but because again, the competition is stiff, and mostly because of the overlap of those branches, I'm taking this one out.
Number 2 is out. Number 3.
Number 3, Miss Baker. This is another really well executed photo. You've got nice sharpness where it matters, and then it tails away into the background where it's less important, but you can still see enough to have the context that it's a street full of shops. You have the eye engagement with the subject, which is good, but again, it's sort of static, and I'm left wondering what is the story here. She's standing at the shop exit. Is she going in or coming out? What is the story here? And for that reason, I'm taking this one out.
Okay, 3 is out. Number 4.
Number 4, this one made me giggle the first time I saw it when you were doing the run through. There's something really fun and crazy about a purple illuminated crab. It seems to me that the exposure might have been just a little bit off, and that there's a substantial part that is blown out with no texture on the bottom part of the crab. It's a really fun idea, and I can see why somebody, whether they were at an event or just walking by, would be drawn to this and say, I need to make a photo of this. This is fun. This is interesting. This is cool. But it seems to me, mainly because of that area that seems to be blown out and then purely white, that's going to make me take this one out.
4 is out. Number 5.
5, after hours, the holiday tree somewhere, perhaps in Europe, I'm not sure. The fact that you could get it on a rainy day with the puddles creating that sheen on the street adds a tremendous amount of interest to it, as does the puddle reflecting some of the lights. This might have been a case where if the maker were able to get down closer to the pavement and extend the importance of the puddle and the reflection there, it would have made for a stronger image. It's a wonderful travel shot, and I think a great memory for a scrapbook or photo album or something, but this one is out.
5 is out. Number 6.
I was reading the definition that you have for this category, and mood was one of the adjectives in the definition, and boy, does this have mood. Really good use of low light in the foreground to illuminate the tombstones, and well done on the sky with the stars and part of the cloud of the Milky Way pointing right down on it. The things that are important are light enough to see, clear enough to see. The things that aren't fade into black. So this is well done on the part of the maker, and this one is in.
Number 6 is in. Number 7.
This is a really creative, interesting abstract. You see a lot of Christmas lights and light trails from them, and other things. I have no idea what this is, and I'm curious. And if it were just the lights, that would be one thing, but then having those lines going in all directions and all colors really adds a lot to this. And having the main lights with the starburst not be in a straight line, but be in a pattern that moves your eye through this. This is very cool, very clever. I like it, and it's in.
Number 7 is in. Number 8.
Number 8, we're in Pittsburgh again. In this case, because we are zoomed in and just paying attention to the bridges, we have what I feel, to me anyway, is more of a clear subject. And we could even perhaps crop in a tiny bit more, but I like the way this is set up and composed. The well lit, the reflections in the water are a lot more prominent and pleasing on this one than on some of the much wider panoramas. This one's in.
Number 8 is in. Number 9.
Number 9 is the New Orleans streetcar, another one that has a lot of mood to it. Well done by the photographer to get both the streetcar line and destination in there, as well as the interior of the car, without making the streetcar driver a silhouette. The fact that we can't actually see him, and if you imagine this as New Orleans, then it conveys a certain extra amount of mood to it. This is nicely done. I like the building in the background, the way the street lights trail off into the distance. The people waiting on the right-hand side to balance what's on the left. This is another one that's well done and in.
9 is in. Number 10.
I was listening to you all talking about traveling half the length of the Earth in order to photograph the eclipse, and this is a really nicely done one. I have read about those. I think there's the solar flares that are peeking out from the edges, the red things that are apparently quite unusual, and this is a really nice shot right in the middle of totality. Very impressively done, and this one is in.
10 is in. Number 11.
11 is another one of the balloons, the night launch. The maker did a really nice job of exposure on this one. You even get to see a little bit of the flame from peeking out from the inside of the balloon. And the people, while in shadow, are clear enough. The balloon here is framed so as to give us a triangle that points then down towards the people in the bucket. So this is a nicely orchestrated photo, particularly in that sense. I will have this one in.
11 is in. Number 12.
Number 12, the Norwegian sun. In this one, you got a very dramatic blue hour sky in the background, which adds a lot to this. Nicely photographed. You've got the area that, I don't know if it's the bridge or whatever, but on the upper decks in the front, it's like you can see in the windows, they're not blown out. You've got nice stars around the main lights on the side of the boat. I like most of this. It seems to tail off into the dark as you get towards the front of the boat, and I wonder if bringing in a little bit more light there, either through a graduated filter in Lightroom or Photoshop or something, would help a little bit. you've given it enough room to move forward into. I like it, but I think there are some stronger images in there, and if there were fewer of those, then this would definitely be in contention. But as it is, I'm taking this one out.
12 is out. Number 13.
13 is the Aurora, another magical experience, or so I'm told. Did a really nice job of capturing the Aurora. The shapes are completely unpredictable, but the way this one worked out, it forms a strong diagonal, which gives a lot of tension and interest to the photo. I think even the fact that there are trails in the snow in the foreground that lead you into the background helps the composition. There's not too much foreground here. There's not too much sky. Even the natural sort of V formation of the hills bring you into the more or less the center of the photo and up again towards the sky. This is nicely lit, nicely composed, a really nice capture that I imagine might be on the maker's wall at some point in time. This one is in.
Okay, 13 is in. Number 14.
14, the flamingos. I struggle to find a center of interest here. The flamingos are all going in different directions. I find that it almost looks like a disco ball or something right in the center of the photograph. A mirrored ball or something is distracting me. And I guess there's a little bit of an overlap between the two center flamingos. And there's a tiny bit of wing coming in from the lower left that is a little distracting coming in from there. It's so busy that while it's a fun photo and amusing, I think this one is going to be out.
Okay, number 14 is out. Number 15.
Fireworks. Really nice capture of the fireworks. But I struggle with what is important on the left side of the frame. There's nothing to the left of the three red lights, and I'm not so sure the three red lights add that much to the scene. This one seems to me like it would be more effective either as a vertical or cropped in a good bit from the left. I really like the photographs. I like the way that light is reflected in the water. The blue and the red streaks of light on the bridge kind of mimic the colors of the firework, and that adds a little to it. But I think there's too much space on the left that doesn't really add to it, and having it there kind of takes away from the drama and impact of the fireworks. So for that reason, I'm taking that one out.
15 is out. Number 16.
16, or at the Balloon Fest again. This one looks to me like it could have stood for a little bit less exposure. Looks like the base of in particular, the base of the two balloons on the right might be a little hot, maybe blown out a tad. And this is another situation as the first one was, where it's a really nice documentary kind of photo of what was going on, but I'm looking for the action and the drama and the impact, and that's really hard to get when they're still on the ground. Also, and because one of my sort of pet peeves or something that was drilled into me early on was the idea of edge patrol and going all around the edges of the frame to get rid of distracting elements. On the far right, sort of in the middle, there's a really bright white light that makes itself seen and could either be cropped or cloned out. And for those reasons, this one is out.
16 is out. Number 17.
17 is another fun one that first time around, I'm like, what is going on? What is that? I'm still not quite sure if it's something the photographer did for intentional camera movement or what exactly, which is a good thing in photographs. I like the way the trailing lights from the figure on the right go all the way to the edge of the screen. It has plenty of room to move into. I like having the second figure there also, but that one starts to get a little tight to the edge without a lot of room to move into. And so whether the photographer could have stood back a little or moved just a little or swung the camera just a little bit more to the left to give a little bit more room to that more distant figure would have improved it. Neat photo, but in this case, out.
17's out. Number 18.
18, we're back in Pittsburgh again. And this is another one where for me, there's just too much. I don't know where my eye is supposed to go. There's like three main points of interest: the science building, the stadium area, the bridges, and then the skyscrapers on the right. And it feels a little too busy and maybe a little unbalanced. There's a lot of dark on the right-hand side, and the buildings are heavy, where there's on the left-hand side, there's a lot of bright lights and buildings that don't seem so heavy. It's a neat pano, but I think compared to everything else that's here, unfortunately, this one is going to be out.
Okay, 18 is out. Number 19.
19, the skater. It's a nice capture of the skater. It looks a little posed. I'm not sure if this is like right at the end of a routine where the skater comes to a halt, but for me, I'm looking for the grace of ice skating, and the position of the arms just looks a little awkward. I think if both arms had been extended, you probably have something there. The arms just look awkward to me, and for that reason, mostly is the reason I would say this is out.
19 is out. Number 20.
20, the Reykjavik waterfront. Nicely exposed and focused. Nice reflections in the water. This is another one where I'm not quite sure what the subject is here. What's the story? The boats wind up pointing in different directions. They're different kinds of boats. The lights of the city buildings behind them. In this case, it's a nice contrast with the golden lights of the rooms in the city buildings with the blue of the water and the night and the the boats, but I don't know where my eye is supposed to go. I don't know what's important here. It's a nice sort of travel photo and a memory, but this one I'm taking out.
20 is out. 21.
21 is a really interesting one that could be any number of different things. It could be fireworks, but it also looks like it could be fabric. It could be any. It lets your imagination run wild in a way that's unusual in photos. I like the sort of diagonal thrust of the thing. I like the amount of detail and texture that is in it. I'll be dying to know what this actually is. If it's a photo, if it's fireworks or something else. But this is a really clever, interesting piece, and I have this in.
21 is in. 22.
22, the sail abrasion. Looks like a nice capture of a scene. With all the lights on the boat. I'm a little distracted by, I think it might be the Hard Rock Cafe guitar sign or whatever that vertical bright element is on the right-hand side. That one's a little distracting is there's something really bright as far as the light goes going near the left-hand side. It's unusual to have a photo of a boat from the stern or back end. I'm more used to seeing it from the front end, so it's unique in that sense. But it's also, the lights are the point of this thing, and I get that. I don't know that the umbrellas and all the people standing around really add anything to this. Perhaps if the maker had just zoomed in on where the lights were, maybe portions of the masts that were lit up, or the masts and some of the flags and things a detail shot could have been more impactful. So this one is out.
22 is out. Number 23.
23, the strip. This is one that there are things I like about it. The exposure is nailed right on the button. The depth of field is really good from front to back. It seems to me that the strength of this photo is in the sort of three arches above which are the three lit balconies or railings, above which is Caesar's Palace. And that is somewhat diminished by having this in a landscape or horizontal mode, where if this were either shot vertically or cropped in more from the right-hand side and maybe a little from the left to make it appear more vertical, that would be a stronger composition and emphasize more the height aspect and the sort of way the windows and balconies and things all step up and get higher and higher, which is a nice little concept and a nice eye there. But right now there's too many other things in it especially on the right-hand side. I would suggest cropping in the right-hand side and a little from the left and seeing what the maker thinks of it as that, see if that improves it. But this one is out.
23 is out. Number 24.
It's unusual to find photos of a full moon with foliage or anything obscuring parts of the moon or setting it up. You almost always see the entire full moon somewhere in the sky. So I like the idea of using something in the foreground. For me, the foreground branches appear out of focus. and I'm not sure why they are there. It's fine to do things that reach over and into your main subject, but it has to be with a purpose, and I'm not sure what the purpose is there. So I'm taking that one out.
24 is out. 25.
25, there are a number with this gentleman, which makes it even tougher because you got, like the Pittsburgh Bridges, you've got 3 to compare. I like that we've got engagement with him. He's looking straight at us. There's some texture to the smoke, to his clothes. The lighting is good. But because there are 3 of them and we can't have it seems like this one, there are ones that I think are better of the same gentleman, so I'm going to take this one out.
25 is out. 26.
26 is another interesting shot. I really like the maker's eyes on this to see this and to spot how everything can line up. Where the triangle shape that's the main foreground subject that's all lit up, yet it points directly at the dome, which is a sort of secondary subject in the background. Very nicely seen and captured. Good detail there. And I think those are fountains spraying in the front, but those form a nice little counterpoint to the main subject. But this is another one I think where shooting it vertically would have made it much more powerful and given it more impact. The left-hand side and the right-hand side aren't holding things up. They're not contributing to this in any meaningful way. And the bright lights that you occasionally see through the trees or bushes or whatever have a tendency to draw your eye away from what is important, that center element. So if this were either cropped into a vertical, or if the maker had shot it vertical, maybe the maker has a vertical version of this that I think would be a stronger scene. So this one is out.
26 is out. 27.
27, Christmas Boat Parade. I love the ideas of decorated boats with the lights on them. They can be so interesting and beautiful. And this one's gone through the trouble of going like way overboard with the lights and have palm trees and all kinds of fun things there. I can see what drew the maker's eye to this. I like the way they incorporated the reflections. The strong green and white lines take you right into that area with what I think are palm trees. And I think that's the subject of the photo. I don't know that the rest of it adds a whole lot to it, and might try cropping in from the top and the right-hand side to emphasize those palm trees and the leading lines of the lights going into them, and see how that looks to the maker. But the rest of it is, in some ways, it's just lights and not enough information for me to get vitally interested in it. So this one is out.
27 is out. 28.
This is a really well crafted and composed image, beautifully lit. It's one of those occasions where cutting off something makes sense. A lot of times photographers might be afraid of not including an entire object, but it's not always necessary. And this is really a study in light and texture with a really nice reflections in the globe near the top, and just enough detail to get that diamond-shaped screen in the background. So this one going to be in.
28 is in. 29.
29, another one from the eclipse. And I'm thinking of the earlier one, which was at the moment of full totality. And this one it might be just a nanosecond after the sun has started to come back out again, where you're looking for that diamond ring kind of effect, where you just have the one really bright, sparkly light when the sun first pops out. As this one is, I think the bottom solar flare, that's the tiny little triangle, I think you lose the red because a little too much of the sun is peeking out. It's just a tiny bit too late or too early, depending on whether the sun's coming out or going in. For that reason, this one goes out.
29 is out.
Which is not to say I wouldn't gladly take credit for it if it were mine.
29 is out. Number 30.
30, again, because we're looking for mood and feeling and impact. This one is a really nice use of black and white. It fits the costume of the character. Get really nice smoke rings, and the light on the character here is just lovely. You've got little catch lights in the eyes. You can see the texture in his face and his facial muscles. There's a nice sort of triangle formed between the man going up the center of the man to the smoke ring, and then down to the hand in which he holds the cigar, and back. You've got this triangle and a way that your eye moves between those three elements over and over, and you're kept in the frame looking. This is really nice. This one is in.
30 is in. 31.
31, the Steel City S-curves, and the S-curves are the things that jump right out at you at this. One of the favorite compositional elements is the S-curve, and for a good reason. And in this case, the maker has sort of you don't notice it at first, but as you look at it a little closer, you've got a double S-curve from the headlights in one direction and the more muted taillights going in the other direction, which is very cool and clever. Again, this is one where just the tiniest bits of the S-curve near the lower left are cut off, either by the way the maker was forced to frame this, or by the nature of the site. That detracts from this a little, as do right at the very bottom, the bright lights on the pillars. That's something, the bright lights on the pillars at the bottom is something you could darken down to make them less prominent and focus more attention on moving in and through the photo. But because it's slightly cut off on one side and right on the bottom, those are the two main drawbacks to this one, which is otherwise a really good catch. But this one is out.
31 is out. 32.
There's that guy again. Again, the lighting on all these with this guy is really good, and I commend whoever the photographer or photographers were who were working with this subject. That the lighting is really nice. I like the amount of detail in the lantern, which is sometimes missing in at least one of the others. There is a bit of a story here. I like he's resting his arm on the ledge of some sort, but that winds up pointing in towards him. The only downside to this is it looks just a little posed or staged, and there may not have been anything the maker of this photo could have done about that. But it's really nicely done, nicely lit, nicely composed, but a little staged. And because of that, it seems a little flat, doesn't have the emotional appeal of some of the others. They're technically great, but this one's going to be out.
32 is out. Number 33.
33 Sunrise. When I first saw this in the first go round, I immediately thought of a Mark Rothko painting. It reminds me a lot of that, where you've taken a sunrise to absolute abstraction, where there's no real detail in anything. And I think that's a really interesting idea. I'm not sure what it is that's sticking up above the line, or on my screen, it looks like there are two white lights that are just to the left of that element that's sticking up. I think I would have preferred it as a complete abstraction without having to wonder what those are or why they're there, but a really super interesting and artistic idea. But this one's out.
33 is out. 34.
34, the flooding expected. This was a well thought out image. You've got the flooding expected sign in the background, and you've got the actual evidence of flooding right in front of you. The market house, very clear, crisp, sharp. It may have been this bright in real life. It seems the market might be. It looks a little too bright for its surroundings, but that could be the way it is in real life. The two things I would say about this are the people standing there don't really add anything to this. It looks like they're just on their phone, which is certainly the state of the world we live in these days. And on the far right side, there's something, maybe a plant or part of the design of the building, I'm not sure which, that's intruding and a little distracting. Might be tempted to crop in a little bit more from the right, but really, really nice job on this. I'm going to leave this one in for the moment.
34 is in. 35.
35, 37 tickets. I'm sure there's a story behind that title. Nice long exposure. I think one of the things I find most interesting about this is at the bottom, where the long exposure has blurred something. I don't know if it's part of the ride or people going by, but that's a really interesting bit of light and texture at the very bottom. As you go up, it looks like the big white circles might have been blown out. They're super, super bright. And the elements in the background on the left and on the right are really prominent. My eye particularly keeps going to the skier, I guess it is, on the left-hand side. And I find both of those distracting and taking me away from the spinning whirl that is the main subject. So it may be something where the maker might want to see about darkening, if possible, those areas, or it might have been impossible with this particular viewpoint and composition. But because I find them and the complete whiteness of the big white disc to be distracting. I'm taking this one out, but whoever did this, I hope they keep trying and experimenting with this kind of slow shutter speed capture of motion. Some of these carnival rides can be really cool.
35 is out. Number 36.
Another one that is really well executed. Nice capture of the night sky. You have enough light in the foreground to give you a little bit of details. The flowers moving in, the two tents that's balanced a little bit by the rock or snow or whatever that is on the right-hand side. You have just enough light to walk further into the frame and see that line of trees and then the hill line in the distance. This is really nicely done, and kudos to the maker of this one. This one's in.
36 is in. 37.
37, the late night work in the cybersecurity building. And another nice capture, the golden tones of a building at night, the way these are lit, contrasted with some of the almost bluish light of some of the occupied rooms in that building, make a really nice visual contrast. And pairing that with the dome gives you a nice line of color and texture and pattern for the eye to follow. Unfortunately, what I find a little off-putting is the foliage at the bottom. It's not as strong or interesting enough shape to really hold my attention at the bottom. I think that the interest is all in the buildings and the windows and the contrast between the cool and the warm lighting on them. And to me, I'm holding my hands in front of my screen to crop it down. I think I like it better without the foliage in the foreground, just a tiny little bit of the river or water, and the entire focus on the buildings. So mainly for the effect of the foliage there, this one goes out.
37 is out. Number 38.
This is another one that has me scratching my head a little bit, trying to figure out what is what. Night Train. There's some very interesting elements in this. The blue and the white of whatever it is that's going across diagonally is very neat. I'm a little distracted by how bright that one wheel in the top left is, and compared to everything else. And my eye keeps going up there and away from all the other interesting colors and patterns and things. Whereas the white wheel in the background in the top right-hand side has got some pattern to it, some interest, where the one on the left just looks really almost blown out white. And mainly because of that distraction and how bright that white light is, it's taking me out of all the interesting bits of the photo. So I'm taking this one out.
38 is out. Number 39.
39, Late Night Baking. Another really well put together photo. I love the one little candle in the far background near the top right that just gives a little bit of illumination to the wall and the ceiling behind this woman and keeps it from being total black. Um, the lighting in this is just gorgeous. But as a documentary shot or as something that would be on like the cover of a promotional flyer for Colonial Williamsburg or something, this would be brilliant. But it's hard to tell what the woman is doing. It would be nice to get a little engagement with the photographer or the viewer, perhaps having her look up or showing us what she's doing. Great lighting, but in some ways, I'm not sure what I'm looking at and what the subject is doing and what the story is here. So I am taking, sadly, this one out.
39 is out. 40.
40, we're back in Pittsburgh again. And this one's really zoomed into the Carnegie Center and the stadium. To me, the Carnegie Science Center with the reds and the blues is the big point of interest here. The stadium is sort of a background supporting element. And I often find that when people either compose or in post-production crop out things, that if you just crop out a small portion, like of the far right of the stadium is lost, then it doesn't look intentional. If you're much more thoughtful about the crop and move it in where it really looks like it was an intentional decision to put the edge of my photo exactly here, then the fact that part of a stadium or part of an oval is missing doesn't matter because it's clearly the photographer's choice. I think I would crop in a little from the right-hand side, a little from the bottom. The very bottom of the river doesn't really add much once you lose the red reflection, and maybe even a little crop in on from the left. So that more attention is drawn to the Science Center building itself. Otherwise, the exposure on this is really nice, and the high aperture to get those starbursts on the light is really nice. But this one, I think, mainly because it needs just a little bit more finessing, I'm taking out, but the maker should certainly consider maybe doing something a little different and entering it again in another competition.
Okay, 40 is out. 41.
41 is a beautiful shot that really catches a mood. The excuse me, the night sky and I guess Milky Way clouds are clear. The processing is good there. It doesn't look like there's a lot of noise in this. The angle at which this was taken means that the roof line on the top, the sort of gutter line, the base of the house all point towards the Milky Way. And that's a really nice bit of composition. Probably don't need as much foreground as there is there. I might crop up from the bottom a little bit. I think you can get the idea that we're on a beach and there's a lot of sand around with a little less of the foreground there, and that again brings more attention back to the lighthouse and the sky, which are the drivers of this image. But it's really well done. I'll leave it in.
41 is in, and 42.
42, Nightcap. This is a scene that it's evidence of a good eye on the part of the photographer, really well exposed so that you have the detail in the building in spite of it being dark, and yet retain detail from the inside. If you look in the windows, you can see what's going on. It looks like the one person is about to go in, which adds a nice bit of interest to it. What is a little distracting to me is on the far left, the window that we're looking in. We have a figure that's looking to the left and out of the frame. Because it's a large, bright area, the eye is drawn there, and then to have the man, I guess, looking to the left and out of the frame, you're sort of tempted to move left yourself and wonder what he's looking at, and then you lose the attention on the beautiful, interesting building that's so nicely lit and composed. And I'm thinking that I sort of have a rule that anything that doesn't add something important to an image, you have to ask yourself why it's there. Why do I want to include this? And for the purposes of this image, I'm not sure why you need to include that window on the left. So perhaps cropping in a little from the left and a little from the bottom would eliminate that distraction and focus all our attention on the main Manor Hill building and the lovely light coming from the windows. And for that reason, I'm taking this one out.
Okay, 42 is out, and that is about it for that. Let me go back and see what we've got as far as ins and outs. Okay. Come on. Let's see. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I have 13. Do you have 13, Frank?
I just need to filter this. Let's see. I'm missing one that I don't think I noted it accurately from early on. I see which one it was. Okay, now I have 13.
Okay, we need to get it down to first through fourth and 4 honorable mentions. We can either take some out or we can start placing the way we have you here.
Okay, I think I'm going to take some out to get us down to the right numbers. And this is going to be painful. Okay, I think we're going to lose the one of the balloon, number 11 night launch.
11 is out.
I think we're going to lose number 34, flooding expected.
34 is out.
Much as I love landscape and astrophotography, and it pains me to take 36 out, I'm afraid there's so many good photos. That 36 Night at the Divide is out.
36 is out. 2 more.
although I really love the lighting and for this and the guy's expression. I'll leave that in. Never mind. I think the old lamp number 28, the oil lamp, beautifully shot and lit, but that one's going out. Somebody has some talent with still lifes, I can tell.
Okay, 28 is out.
And one more. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I think I'm going to take number 9, NOLA Streetcar, as out.
Number 9 is out. Okay, that gives us our 8, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, we do. And whichever way you want to go, honorables first, or if you want to place.
Let's do honorables first. The number 13 Skyfire as honorable.
Okay.
Number 41 Life Saving Station is honorable.
Got it.
Number 8 Pittsburgh Bridges is honorable.
Got it.
And number 30 Stepping Out for a Smoke as honorable.
Got it.
For the 4th place, number 10 Solar Eclipse.
Got it.
3rd is number 7 Stars and Stripes.
Got it.
2nd is number 6 Was a Dark and Stormy Night.
Got it.
Which leaves number 21 Soaring as first. And if the maker of that is there, I'd love to know what it is.
Looks like fireworks to me, but we won't know until, let's see, is Tammy here? No, Tammy's not here. So hopefully, Tammy, if you're watching online, we can announce live what that is. Please put that in the Facebook chat. I'm monitoring that. Okay, we have honorable mention Life Saving Station. Is that Cheryl Kerr? Is that yours, Cheryl? Do we want to? Do you have the microphone, Ron?
Yeah.
Can somebody run around to the people that are in here and have them do a little bit of an announcement? Cheryl, tell us about this photo, please.
This is a historic building. It is at the Oregon Inlet in North Carolina on the Outer Banks. I took this past March and went to the site the day before, got to the site the next day during daylight, but towards sunset, to continue planning and scoping out the whole area to determine what view I liked and wanted. And went back at 3 in the morning and hiked out, and this is what I took.
Very nice. Next honorable mention I have is number 13, Skyfire, Chuck Gallegos. I didn't see him here tonight. Chuck, you're going to have to let us know on Facebook. Let's see. Oh, Chuck, good job, Chuck. I actually do have, let's see here, Debbie Wolf, her honorable mention, great Great model outdoor or night shot. Which one was that? Was that her? I'm already messing it up. All right. Chuck says Skyfire was taken in Iceland on the January 2019 trip he took with Alert Koch. Not sure who that is. I'm sure I probably should.
He's a member.
Alert? Okay. Al. Gotcha. Okay. Let's go back over here. Honorable mention to Pittsburgh Bridges, and that was shot by Christine Milliker. Christine is driving. That was on Mount Washington Sunday night. Man, what a good place that was. And it was a good neighborhood, good parking. I definitely recommend you go and check that out. And the last honorable mention to this guy, stepping out for a smoke, and that was shot by Debbie Wolf. I didn't see Debbie in here either. I could tell a little bit about that. That was a portrait night, right? Studio night. And then we went outside and had some fun with some smoke rings. Fourth place, solar eclipse, Fred Venetia.
Fred, here you
Oh, yeah, it took a little bit of planning for that thing. What I did was I programmed my camera, position 1, to be at 2,000 shutter. And about 20 seconds away from totality, that's when the filter comes on. You're at 2,000 because it's going to be real bright, and you're coming down. I caught the beads, kept coming down. I got down to 120 with the thing off, and that's what I got. 160. I think I got down to 160 on that. The shutter.
Okay. And then, let's see, where are we at? Third place, Stars and Stripes, and that is Julie Bennett. And I didn't see Julie there. Second place, 'Twas a Dark and Stormy Night, and that is Chuck Gallegos again. Let's see if Chuck put anything in the chat. I saw his Skyfire. Nope, don't see anything. So let's move on to first place, number 21, Soaring, and that is Tammy Gorsak. And I haven't seen Tammy online. Everybody who won something and wasn't here or wasn't able to give me. Chuck says Cemetery in Ireland was the second place. If you did not get a chance to talk about your image, whether you're remote or whatever, please post it to the Facebook group and give us some more information, especially Tammy with this shot here, Soaring. My money's on fireworks, but I'm not entirely sure. Frank, thank you so much for such a wonderful night of judging. I'm glad we made it hard for you, and I hope you had a good time.
Sir, thank you so much for having me. I did thoroughly enjoy it, even though you really did make me work. There's some exceptional photos here, and your club has a lot of truly excellent photographers with very good eyes.
Great. Well, we're glad to hear that. Can we get the lights real quick? And I just want to talk a little bit about what's coming up again. Of course, I can't see. Thank you so much. This Saturday is the field trip to Brookside Gardens. Probably a lot of great things in bloom.
The azaleas on May the 4th, or we sticking to the 25th?
We're asking. I think the azaleas were May the 4th, right?
4th, otherwise we'll be out of bloom.
Yeah.
Move the date, make sure you announce that.
Okay, but this is still Brookside Gardens for this weekend, right? Okay. Brookside Gardens this Saturday. Make sure to make it. And then the program, 10:30 in the Brookside parking lot by the observatory where they usually do the butterflies. Where do you guys want to meet?
Visitor Center.
Visitor Center, just say Visitor Center.
Standard Visitor Center. Meet at the Visitor Center at 10:30 a.m. And then next week we have a program, Victoria Gray on the art and business headshots. That's probably something very interesting for a lot of people here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you all for submitting such great images. Congratulations to the winners, and thank you, of course, to our judge, Frank Gallagher. Thank you, Frank.